guys, and welcome back to a new video. So let's get into the game. Today we're gonna talk a bit about what I've been up to in the Legion League, and I come up with a Monolith farmer because it's something that a lot of people do for profit. And you just spam low tier maps, just pop the Monolith, kill all the mobs, and get out as fast as possible. And I wanted to make a build that would do this pretty nicely and also be able to do some map farming, like a fast map farmer in general, not a boss killer but a fast map farmer in general for like all kind of maps. I've pushed it to T50, 13, T14, farming like Monolith and whatnot, and it does the job. But what this build is essentially made for is for something that I think you guys are familiar with now. It's glacier farming. You just pop the map, get the monolith going, and you get out. So it's a build that is based around Ice Nova, of course. A lot of people are using it, but it's not a my skill. We are using Orb of Storms, which is like a non-meta skill. We maxed the AoE and we're using an interaction between the Herald of Ice Shatters and the Orb of Storms using a MOM Inquisitor. So let's check out what the build is made for, and then we're gonna do a little recap about the gear, the passives, and why I chose to make this build that way, and the items I chose, etc. So yeah, here you go, you kill a bit of mobs, and you can see that the Herald is chaining like crazy. Just pop the Monolith, and pop the Ice Nova, then you pop the remaining monster. If you missed some, you pop them with your Orb of Storms. And you pop back Ice Nova, and you finish cleaning up with the Orb of Storms. A purely Ice Nova build would clear everything with the Ice Nova, but yeah, I didn't want to go the pure Ice Nova assassin kinda new meta or whatnot. Just check out there's some remaining monster a little bit. So yeah, it's not the fastest I would say at Monolith clearing, but it's doing pretty okay as you can see. Let's pop the last chest, get a Plague Mob Prophecy. And yeah, basically the build is made for doing this, so a full clear monoliths and shining. But if we take quickly, like I don't know, a T12 that is really nice park. Here we got a T12 park map. Put this here real quick. I'm just gonna Alk and go. Temp chain, X proof. Fuck it. Let's reroll just quickly. Crit multi, additional dance, cast speed for the boss, whatever. Because now that we've seen that it can low tier monolith farm just fine, we're gonna see that it can also map in higher tier maps, you know. So you can see. Here, boss is down. As you can see, even if it's like a normal sun, it's a really clear speed oriented build. We can still kill some bosses in fairly high tier maps. I mean, it's a T13, it's not like impressive guardian kill. That's not what the build is made for, so that's alright. Let's finish up the map, find the monoliths quickly if we can. Here it is. We have some of the sulfite now, it's gonna know if I don't, some of you boys are gonna be pretty pissed about me. Pop the Monolith, pop the Valais Nova. And yeah, pretty much everything is dead. And then we get back in the center, whatever. And we fucked up. I completely messed up the placement of my Valais Nova. I think there's one here. Needs to die. This one was better placed. But yeah, as you can see with Oboston, we can still clear monoliths in fairly high tier maps. Do the bosses? I mean... Okay. So yeah. Get back into the hideout and let's talk a little bit about the gear. Put this trash over here. So yeah, so we are an Inquisitor, level 92. And we are using some key units, so we are using 2 Call of the Brotherhood to convert some of our lightning damage. I mean 80% of your lightning damage from Hope of Storms to cold damage, and a Call to Fire to convert 50% of our cold damage to fire damage, and we're getting extra damage from each step. Then we're using Elemental as extra Chaos 1, which are pretty cheap Dittling. I think one like this, fully crafted, costs around 4x on the market, with lightning damage to spells, spell damage on Chaos, and crit multi, since we are crit build. Then life gloves, since we are gonna shock, chill, and ignite pretty often, we choose to go with this kind of gloves with the increased damage with hits against chill enemies. And what is very important in the AoE, so you have AoE here and on my helmet, then a Carcass Jax, of course, for more AoE. Then cast speed is really important also, so you want to get as much cast speed as possible. So I got cast speed, crit chance, and life, and some damage on my shield. Then some decent boots, Solstice Vigils to get 3 time chains and reserve a little bit of mana. And then the reservation I have here is for my Herald of Ice, which is linked with Innervate. Since we're gonna shock a lot of enemies, we're gonna have the perma Innervate buff thanks to the Solstice Vigil while mapping. And also an interesting feature is that when you flame dash, you really restart the consecrated ground timer here, and you have pretty much perma consecrated ground as long as you're flame dashing through maps. So for the rest of the gear, a Stygian with some life res and a cast speed jewel with some res that we needed. And if we take a look at the passive, for the Inquisitor we get for Sanctuary, for the Consecrated Ground, the Mana Regen, and then the cast speed through Pious Path, and the Elemental Immunity, which is permanent. We have permanent 20% cast speed, permanent immunity to elemental elements. The energy shield regen is okay because we have a little bit of tiny bit of yes, but it's not important. But if you wanna go like CI or low life, it's pretty nice. And then Righteous Providence for the increased crit chance and the crit multi and the effect of elements, and the Inevitable Judgments to get the pen for non-crit and the critical strike inner monster elemental resistance. And yeah, for the element I went with Aberrance because we are getting a huge chunk of chaos damage. So since we are already dealing with the elemental resist through the ascendancy, I choose to go with this one to get a little bit more damage out of my chaos damage. So yeah, for the tree we go start mana and life. At 93 I'm gonna go Righteous Decree to get a little bit more mana. So life, AoE, Light of Divinity, Holy Dominion, which are pretty nice. Free stock and Ignite, nice. Some more life, Retribution, Mind Over Matter, some more life, Mana Regen, spell damage, lightning damage, crits, life mana, life, Alchemist, amazing node for flash effect duration, AoE, mana, intelligence, yes, we go there for more cast speed, cold, fire and cold damage, crit multi, lightning damage and cast speed. So life, charge generation thanks to the intuitive leap, which is dirt cheap this league. Then more life, crit, attack damage, spell damage, mana regen, crit, crit, life, cast speed, jewel socket for phasing, some more life. And here we have onslaught. So we have onslaught phasing through jaws, charge generation through here, crit multi, a bit of life. And yeah, we are scaling with the carcass jacks and all the AoE. We are getting massive AoE on the Herald, and most of our damage comes from the Herald's explosions that are overlapping, which gives massive clear speed to Orb of Storms. So yeah, if we look at the skills we are using as our main 6 links, as I said, Orb of Storms, the Helmet Ancients, you want to cast speed, because it's amazing, and it costs nothing. Like a base like this is like 2C, and then you slap some fossils on it, and there you go, you got an amazing helmet for the build. So Orb of Storms, added lightning, increased crits, control destruction, call to fire, and I'm using chain. If you want to do more single target damage, you can, if you have white sockets, swap for increased crit damage, or alternately added cold is fine there. So that's our main 6 link. Then we are using Ice Nova to sustain a little bit more damage against Monolith. It's nice to pop one at the beginning and one when it pops out. Increased area, added cold and hypothermia. Now for the defensive layer, we are using cast when damage taken, wave of conviction, steel skin, and call to fire. Call to fire goes for the wave of conviction, ensuring us that we deal mainly fire damage. So, which is the same for the Orb of Storm. So we are applying a fire resistance debuff on enemies thanks to this. Then we have faster casting, arcade surge, flame dash, a lightning golem, and a blasphemy time chains, of course, and a portal gem here. So yeah, it's a like pretty fast clearing build, fast mapper, decent at bossing in low mid tier maps, I would say, and amazing for Monolith. I made a ton of currency. I self-financed the build just by farming low tier maps. All can go, no sustained shenanigans. I haven't even like shaped my atlas to sustain perma glacier. No, I just took the maps I had, run them, all can go, kill the Monolith, kill all the mob, and I was able to buy the carcass jacks, 6 link it, then craft, buy the gloves, craft the helmet, buy the 2 rings, craft the wand. So yeah, just use a tabula, you don't need the carcass jacks, farm the currencies and upgrade your build as it goes, cause damage is gonna feel a little bit clunky until you have like similar setup, especially the wand is like a huge DPS boost. But ultimately, if you wanna play something that it's not meta, that not a lot of people do, go for it. I would only recommend it. I've been like really surprised at how fast I leveled the character and how little death I get, although I tend to play like recklessly and whatnot. So overall, I'm really satisfied about this character. Didn't think it would go this far, and yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Yeah, sorry. Pantheons, I'm using Cannot Be Stand and Growth Cool. And Bandits, you kill Alira, of course. For Flask, Adrenaline, Diamond Flask of Heat, Sulfur Flask of Harding, Azir's Promise, and Life Flask of Stun Shield. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I could get rid of the heat and get poison immunity here, because I'm supposed to be like fully immune to elements, but you never know. So that's the only change. You can swap the promise for basalt if you're feeling like you're lacking defenses, because you don't stack a lot of armor, so granite won't do much for you, but the basalt would be nice. So yeah, keep in mind, if you want to go for the call to fire setup, you need the 2 call of the brotherhood and the call to fire ring. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this build. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you soon. Bye.